Tone Deaf is the journey of a theater nerd, bringing musicals into the life of their musically challenged spouse.
This show is rated explicit for mature content and strong language.
I'm sorry for me.
Spoilers are in every episode, so if you haven't seen the show we are reviewing, you can always check back in later with us.
We'll be here when you get back.
Welcome to Tone Deaf, a theater nerd's guide for their musically challenged spouse. I'm Kay, a musical theater nerd, and dear God, we have been gone a long time.
And I'm Warren, I'm musically challenged, and yes, you are right, Kay. We have indeed been gone for a while.
Yep.
But we're back.
Yes, we are back.
But we're not dinosaurs.
We are not dinosaurs.
But we will eventually get to them.
We will eventually get to we're back.
But what we are getting to today is kind of bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's very bittersweet.
Yeah.
Because it's a show I've been wanting to do for a long, long time because I hate it, and I want to talk about how much I hate it and why it sucks, and drag it through the mud like it deserves, and then tar and feather it in the town square and have everyone throw cheese. Because that's what this show deserves.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason that we're doing it is tied into why we've been gone for so long. As some of you who keep in touch with us on social media may know, we had a family tragedy in September that forced us to kind of take a step back and reassess some things in our lives and kind of put things that we could put on pause, and unfortunately that included this show that we love doing for all of you, and I want to thank everyone who gave love and support for that, what is still a difficult time, and thank you all for your patience while we kind of sort through some things. There's still a whole lot of sorting that's going to be happening in the coming months and years, and
Yep.
And so we may have some surprise times when we can get an episode out, but we promise we will do our best. And for all intents and purposes, Tone Deaf is back.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So, Kay, why don't you tell us about the show we're going to do today?
So, the show that we are doing, this is going to be the second show that we are covering that is based on the play Lilium. But unlike Cabin in the Sky, this one is one we're both going to have controversial opinions on. Fucking Carousel.
Yep, fucking Carousel, the merry-go-round that kicks you in the nuts. I really hate this show.
Yeah, it was, the second stage show that you had seen?
Something like that. For recap purposes, when I was a wee little Warren in elementary school, they would... And they only did this twice that I can remember, because I think the second one put me off of it. But they would bring the elementary schoolers into the high school to let them, do a live performance before, other people. And so the first show I ever saw was Fiddler on the Roof. I want to say it was 4th grade, and I was surprised how much I enjoyed myself. So when they did it again, and this time the show was Carousel... I was like, oh boy, I enjoyed Fiddler on the Roof. I'm sure I'll enjoy No. Carousel is bad. It should feel bad. And we're going to talk about why it should feel bad.
Yes.
Even as Daddy doesn't like it.
Oh, absolutely not. We'll get to that. So, it doesn't help that Carousel plays Lilium pretty straight. Yes, the line that you and I both hate comes from Lilium. And the only reason that this episode is not roasting that show is that it's not a musical. literally the only reason I'm not roasting it, but you're on notice, Lilium, by Faranek Molnar. I'm watching you.
Faranek Molnar. So, see, okay, based on that name. So does it say in your notes? I apologize, I'm jumping in, Kay.
No worries.
What nationality is Lilium?
Believe Hungarian.
Okay. I guess that makes sense then, because initially I'm just going Lilium. That sounds like if you have a very matriarchal mother who's like, I want a daughter, they're going to be named Lily. And then they have a boy and they're like, fuck it, you're Lilium.
No, Lilium is the dude in it.
Yeah, Lilium.
Yeah, and I may be pronouncing it wrong. It might be pronounced differently, but I don't know. I don't care. I hate this show.
Lilium, the masculine version of Lily.
So, I don't like that. I know too many awesome lilies.
Well, I'm just saying. If it's kind of like how your beloved parrot that you had was initially named Kira, and then you found out that they were a boy, not a girl, and so you changed it to Kier. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like if you had a lily, and then found out they were not a lily, they were instead
fair.
a Lilium.
Fair.
Yeah.
Then I would have been like Liam or something. I don't know.
I mean,
but no, they're allowed to call him Lilium or Liliome or however the hell it's pronounced, but this is going to be a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. So this is your third?
wow, you are much more gracious to me.
Fourth.
And so you're much more gracious to me than I would be to me, because I'd be like, Warren, can you name what the other 4 shows were?
Oh.
We could do a lightning round of how bad is Warren's musical brain?
Let's see. Actually, do you remember which shows are Rodgers and Hammerstein that we've done?
Oh, because there's shows that I know that are theirs that we haven't done yet. Mm-hmm. And so now trying to remember which ones are theirs, it's really hard. Because I know half of them worked on shit. Balls ass. It's on the tip of my tongue. West Side Story.
No.
I thought Rodgers worked on that.
Hammerstein was Sondheim's influence and the one who hooked him up, but
See, I can't retain any musicalness. Okay. One more. Shit. Pirates of Penzance?
no.
that's Gilbert and Sullivan.
Yeah.
Shit. Rodgers and Hammerstein. See, then this is what's killing me, is I know that The King and I is Rodgers and Hammerstein. We haven't done that one. This is eating me. Okay,
So,
just remind me how...
second show that we covered,
No. Shit, what was our second show?
Night of the Living Hills.
The Sound of Music.
Yes. Oklahoma,
Okay.
Flower Drum Song.
Oh, god damn it. That was another one I thought was Gilbert and Sullivan in my head, was Flower Drum Song.
They did the Mikado, which we will do eventually, and holy fuck.
So this is the 4th Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yes, this is the 4th one.
Sound of Music, Flower Drum Song, and there was one before that, don't tell me. My brain is an Etch-a-Sketch.
Wolvie was in it.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Yes. God, I love you.
You know, I'm super glad that you do, because right now as we're sitting here doing this, I'm questioning why you do.
I could tell you some reasons off mic. It's not February yet. I can be horny on this show. Anyway. So, as I said, this is a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical.
Yes, in fact, the 4th one that we've done so far.
We've done so far. And this isn't even completely their fault.
You told me a little bit about that a few weeks back when you were doing initial research, and I want to hear why it is not their fault and why I shouldn't be cursing their names like I do every night before bed. Reverse prayers, I call them.
You curse... it's kind of wild. I hear you cursing them, Andrew Lloyd Webber, and Bono and the Edge.
I mean, yeah, and others, but yes, I mean,
Those are the main ones.
those are the ones who have cut me very deeply since we've begun doing our show.
So, this is the fault of the producers of the show. The producers are Teresa Helburn and Lawrence Lagner of the Theater Guild, who insisted that Rodgers and Hammerstein adapt Lilium to a musical.
And so what's their damage? Why did they feel the need to cause pain to mankind?
I don't know, but what's funny about this is that Molnar didn't want people adapting this. Like, he turned down fucking Puccini when he was like, this depressing as fuck story will make a great opera.
And see, that reference requires me to know what Puccini is. because, I mean, let's be fair. If Kraft started making dog food, the first thing they do would be called Puccini. Pasta in a box for your dog. Why does my dog lick their butt after eating this? They're trying to get the taste out of their mouth. That joke was stolen from Ron White.
Oh my god. Even the Puccini part?
No.
Okay.
I know, just the, anyway, it's about dogs licking their butt because the food was bad.
Would have to ask our third co-host. He also turned down Kurt Weill, who also did the music for Three Penny Opera, and he was like, I forgot I wrote this joke. I'm so sorry. So, pulling back the curtain a little bit, I wrote this episode a while back. And I forgot that I have one of the stupidest puns. And it's all based on the pronunciation of this fucker's name. Okay, so Kurt Weill, who is the person who did the music for Three Penny Opera, is like, I would love to adapt this. And Molnar was like, Weill, not to be too curt, but no.
Very nice. Very nice, Kay.
Oh, man. Wonder what other horrible jokes are going to be hidden in here. So, Molnar's refusal would be important later. And so, Rodgers and Hammerstein are like, hell no, this is a Hungarian story and we're not writing a musical about Budapest, and also the ending is dark as hell. What the fuck, Helburn and Lagner? And then at a meeting, the producers bring it up again and are like, how about we set it in Louisiana, since you don't want Budapest? And R&H are like, have you tried to write lyrics in a Creole dialect?
I mean, when you know that the locals call it Nolans... Yeah, I mean, fuck, we're just making up noises and saying that they mean things. That's all that language is, so why not?
I will say, if somebody did revive this that way, I would watch it.
It would have to be somebody who fluently understood the intricacies of Creole.
Mm-hmm.
The closest thing I know to Creole is that I have a container of Creole seasoning, and that's about it. It's pretty good. Can't use too much, though. It's easy to oversalt it. Sidebar. I don't know what's been up with my breakfast game lately. Like, the last 3 times I've made breakfast, the eggs are too salty. I need to cut back on the seasoning.
Another thing we could try is cutting it with whipping cream.
Yeah, we don't always have whipping cream.
True. We've had it, though, from the last few little bits because of pies.
Because of pie. Because we're all eating our feelings.
Yes. God, I have not stepped on a scale in 4 months, and I don't plan on doing it.
I've destroyed every scale that I have set eyes on.
Yeah, same. Anyway, Rogers gets worn down a little bit and is like, well, I do live in Connecticut, and this is about working class people, so they're working class people in New England, right? And
I mean, yes, technically, but...
And so this is a quote from Hammerstein. He goes, "I began to see an attractive ensemble. Sailors, whalers, girls who worked in the mills up the river, clam bakes on nearby islands, an amusement park on the seaboard. Things people could do in crowds. People who were strong and alive and lusty. People who had always been depicted on stage as thin-lipped Puritans, a libel I was anxious to refute. As for the two leading characters, Julie, with her courage and inner strength and outward simplicity, seemed more indigenous to Maine than Budapest. Lilium is, of course, an international character, indigenous to nowhere." So, when they're not focusing on working on Oklahoma or State Fair, which we'll cover later, they're working on figuring out how the fuck to adapt this. Because the ending of this is... like, of the original is fucking depressing, and we'll get to it, because it's worse than what we get in Carousel the musical.
Yeah, from the little slivers that slipped my way, the source material is somehow worse than the adaptation.
Yes. And, so the Theater Guild starts courting Molnar, and they...
Coming to Netflix this spring, Courting Molnar. Molnar looking for companionship.
No!
Molnar is a 16-foot magma giant from the planet who's come to Earth to find love.
Oh my god, I would watch Sexy Beast before I watched that.
Oh, you don't think Courting Molnar would be a smash hit?
It would be too hot for Netflix.
Oh, see? Because he's a magma giant. I knew I married the right person.
Pew pew. Anyway, I couldn't do finger guns because I was holding the phone.
You just do
for
finger
my
guns.
notes.
Or you have your phone be the gun. See, I do that sometimes too. See? Dun-na-na. Actually, that's not James Bond. Dun-na-dun-dun-dun. Wait, that's not... Wait, fuck. It's been a long time since I've seen a James Bond movie, apparently. Oops.
Oh my god. God, I love you. Alright, so they take Molnar to Oklahoma, which I'm pretty sure I mentioned was an adaptation of Green Grow the Lilacs. And Molnar is like, "I love this, and I love them. These two were the chosen ones to adapt my drama with an incredibly depressing ending."
God damn it, Molnar.
Which, the ending does get changed, because you can't have a suicide and the main character learning nothing and going to hell after smacking his kid on stage at this time. And the plot gets reworked as part of the contract, because holy fuck, again, the source material is fucking dark.
You know what, though? The character deserves it.
Oh,
If it's the same douchebag that's in Carousel, I'm in favor of them going to hell.
Yeah. And the stage musical actually keeps the suicide in it, but the film changes it to him falling on his knife, because this is the Hays Code era that the film gets released. And the ending of Carousel isn't, like, all happy, but Rogers says here that it's an improvement. Lilium was a tragedy about a man who cannot learn to live with other people, Rogers says. The way Molnar wrote it, the man ends up hitting his daughter and then having to go back to purgatory, leaving his daughter helpless and hopeless. We couldn't accept that. The way we ended Carousel, it may still be a tragedy, but it's a hopeful one, because in the final scene it's clear that the child, at least, has learned how to express herself and communicate with others.
And all it took was a smack from dear old Return from the Dead Daddy.
God, like... this show, man.
Yeah. It's interesting listening to you talk about it, because there's some things that I forgot from when I saw it. I did not know. I forgot about the suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The show originally opened April 19th at the Majestic Theater, which is where Phantom of the Opera has been running since 1988.
Okay. April 19th of what year?
Fuck. I did not write that down. Somewhere in the 40s.
Okay.
Fuck it.
I'll accept that.
I can't believe I didn't write that part down. Oh well.
It happened during black and white.
It happened during black and white era. But it Phantom of the Opera also reopened there a couple of days after I had started writing this. No idea if it's still open or not, because, I wrote this before I thought that we'd have another fucking variant and people would be fucking it.
Now people are drinking their pee. And all I can say to that is drink on. Bottoms up.
We didn't even get to do jokes about horse paste.
Oh my god. Was that, what?
We missed horse paste jokes.
Oh my god. We have been, it feels like it has been far too long, and also somehow, simultaneously, in like a bizarre yin-yang inversion of itself, it feels like it's also been not long enough.
Yeah. Fucking hell. God. Anyway, so it's directed by Ruben Mamoulian and Agnes DeMille, who were both involved in Oklahoma. Speaking of which, remember how there was a weird ballet in Oklahoma?
Yeah, that I really didn't care for. It was after What's-Her-Bucket smells the smelling salts that she buys from the Persian guy. And trips balls in a cornfield. Yeah.
There was a ballet in this, because Rodgers and Hammerstein fucking love their ballets, that led to the original run of the show during tryouts to end at 1:30 in the fucking morning. It was that long.
Wow.
And after a lot of editing, 5 scenes get cut, and the ballet part is cut down to 45 minutes.
Oh, what? What?
I am so sorry, Warren.
Like continuously? Like
Yes. 45-minute ballet.
Another reason to hate this show.
I don't know. I mean, I do know why that was a thing, because that was just sort of in vogue at the time, but Jesus Christ.
If I want to see a ballet, I'll go to the ballet. If I want to see a musical, I want to watch a fucking musical. I don't go to the dessert aisle to get my hamburger. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I am a simple man who can only handle simple things. And one of the things I apparently cannot handle is a 45-minute ballet in the middle of the fucking musical. I know that the one in West Side Story was not 45 minutes.
No.
So I'm really not looking forward to oh, fuck me.
Later.
I did this to myself. I wanted to do Carousel.
It's okay, baby. So, it also didn't help that the original draft of what is probably your quote-unquote favorite song, Soliloquy, was originally 8 minutes long.
Is that the one where he's talking about how his son's going to be so great,
Yes.
and if he has a son, this... Yeah, okay.
8 minutes of that.
Yeah. 8 minutes of him talking about how he just better not have a girl because boys are way better.
It would have been a fucking Reddit thread.
Oh, man. Oh, seriously, don't let some of those people discover this show. They'll be like...
They probably have. I wouldn't be surprised. So, Rogers had been injured before the show opened, but he still made sure to attend the opening from a stretcher and was doped up on so much morphine. Like, so much he was unable to see the audience reaction. And he was like, I fucked this up. And instead he learned that the show had been met with uproarious applause. The 40s were a different fucking time.
Well, I mean, then again, in the 40s, it was still perfectly okay to beat the shit out of anyone in your household.
True.
So they're just like, yeah, hit your kid, woo! Abuse works!
Jesus. Oh, wow, that is an interesting sound wave. We're back, baby.
Sound wave.
Oh my god. So, the original run lasted for 890 performances, with the final...
That's too many.
Yeah.
That's way too many. It should have been one. It should have closed after that and then been like, whoa, let's go back to the drawing board. Maybe we don't do a show about an abusive asshole who goes back... I'm sorry, Kay.
So, it closes May 24th, 1947, then goes on a national tour, then goes to the West End, then is revived 8 times.
No wonder my dumb shit, well, it wasn't my high school. No wonder the dumb shit high school put that show on. They were like, well, it's popular. People like it. People like it when we hit kids. What can I say?
It also has 2 film adaptations. One that's an abridged 100-minute one for TV, and the other being the 1956 film that we're going to be watching. Because it's close enough. Like, it was either this or a concert version, and I'm like, nah, we're only going to be watching this one time, and people are going to be like, oh, why didn't you watch the movie? So we're watching the movie.
You know what, Kay? I rescind... Actually, no. I put an asterisk next to my blanket statement of I enjoy watching multiple versions of the same show to see different productions. I'm good.
Not this shit.
I'm good watching this one once.
Yep.
Maybe down the road for a charity event, if I can say fuck, well, maybe we'll do another version.
Yes. If there's a telethon, that will be the only way that they get us to do Carousel.
Do you think you can get away with saying PH fuck on TV?
It's fuck with a PH. I think so.
Yeah, it would be pretty good.
So.
Fuck with a PHU. Fuck with a PH this show.
So, this show was well received and was somehow Roger's favorite.
Is Rogers dead?
Yes, they're both dead.
Okay, good! I'm glad you're dead.
Just so the audience knows, Warren was shouting that into the floor.
Yes, I was. I absolutely was, and I know that they heard me. Because my will is vast and I am very pissed off.
So, there are allegedly deeper themes in this, but, like, it's really hard for me to figure them out. And maybe this watch through will be like, oh, I see this. Or maybe we'll both be like, no, this musical fucking sucks.
If you want to try and extrapolate some deeper meanings in there, you could just tunnel in and say that this piece of shit is a result of his time, which was full of other people who were pieces of shit, because the time before that, people were even shittier. Mm-hmm. So he's a product of his time. Toxic masculinity was at its all-time high because men don't cry, women stay in the kitchen and have babies, and blah, 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 blah. Everybody has a grandpa or father who was part of that generation and was kind of a dick. Mm-hmm. Because that was the generation.
But we also have had people who had grandpas and fathers who were of that generation who weren't.
Yes,
dicks.
yes.
It's kind of the Betty White conundrum.
No, very, very good point. Yes, you are fair, Kay. I tend to paint my rage brush in broad strokes because I look at all the terrible old assholes who ruin shit for everybody else, and I go, you piece of shit. Anyway.
But this also may be a case where it needs a revival like Flower Drum Song got, where they completely gut it and then build it back up, because other folks can usually out Rodgers and Hammerstein.
That kind of makes me angry that I want a revival of that, because I don't want it to be a bad show. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to be a bad show. I don't want it to make my blood boil just when I see, like, a child on a merry-go-round. Like, I...
Wait, that suddenly explains so much.
That's why we can't go to the state park anymore. I'm sorry.
Or the zoo, or a lagoon, or... Holy shit. That's why the carousel outside the aviary shut down for a while, huh? Oh my god.
I have deep trauma related to this show, so I'm just saying maybe the only way to heal it is for them to not do a shitty version.
Yes.
No, it might be the only way. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel better, and some of that trauma will be released after we watch the show and I tear it to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, how weird is it going to be if I watch this and I'm like, you know what, this is better than I remember.
That could happen. I'm sitting here going, maybe there's something that I missed when I was younger watching this and going like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I lasered in on man wants son, man dies. Well, actually, no. Man hits wife, man wants son, man dies, man comes back to hit daughter, man dies. So it's just, let me just make a cameo to smack the shit out of you, and then I'll go off and die again.
God, this fucking show, man.
Front ending the spoilers on this one.
Yeah, it's fine. People know that there's spoilers in every episode by now, and if it's a show that's as well known as this piece of shit, then...
And I just want to take a moment to speak to you specifically, dear Carousel lover in the audience. I'm very, very sorry. Know that I love you, and that I don't think you're bad just because you like this bad show. There's people I like who like Harry Potter, and that's okay too. Mm-hmm. So, just, maybe don't like this, though.
I mean, you're married to someone who likes Rockadoodle, so...
I like Rockadoodle.
Fair, but a lot of people hate it, so... And I'm willing to take criticism of Rockadoodle because I know it's dumb as hell. I know that it's not the best Don Bluth movie, and that's where people... I fucking love that movie so much.
I'm a furry!
That movie might... Oh, God. That movie might be why I'm a furry. Oh, God. I had flashbacks. Yeah.
We're just getting into some deep revelations on this episode of Tone Deaf. So if you're joining us now, I'm here with Kay, the co-host of Tone Deaf, a theater nerd's guide for their musically challenged spouse. And Kay has just unrepressed memory. You see, Kay has discovered the origins of their furriness, and it seems that it dates back to a children's animation film in the early 1990s. Kay, what was the name of this film again?
Rockadoodle.
Rockadoodle. Now, by the name alone, one might infer that this has to do with rock and or roll, and perhaps a farm where chickens might be.
Yes, and Snipes the Magpie, I think, may have been why I'm a furry.
Yes. And this Snipes the Magpie, did they play an important role in this story, in this journey?
They were the annoying bird character that had to be in the group of friends to go get Chanticleer. God damn, I have watched this movie too many fucking times. You'd think that would be the one that is the reason why I'm a therianthrope, but no, it's Land Before Time, which, whole other thing. But yeah, Jesus Christ, we're unveiling a lot of shit today.
Well, thank you so much, Kay. I appreciate the depths that you were willing to share and plunge with our listeners today. So thank you for listening. Next week will be Warren and his love of the G.I. Joe animated movie, but his dislike of the entire G.I. Joe animated series. So that should be interesting. Anyways, thank you all so much. We shall return to our regularly scheduled program as soon as Kay stops laughing.
Holy shit, babe, that was a really good voice.
I think this might be my NPR character voice. You've been listening to KPR.
Yep.
KWP for penis.
Now I want us to be on KUER interviewed just so that you can do that right back at the interviewer.
Okay, remind me what it's called when you hear somebody talk, you try to talk like them.
Echolalia.
Echolalia, thank you. Because of my echolalia, that might happen.
Excellent. I won't be the only one.
that annoying couple that mimics the interviewer, and they're just like, these two are weird. I don't want to be around them. Send the intern.
Anyway,
That's right. We're talking about Carousel, huh?
Yeah, and I'm through my notes.
Oh, you are?
I've just been stalling because I really don't want to watch this fucking train wreck.
Oh, yeah. So Rogers and Hammerstein didn't want to do it either, but they got worn down like rain on a mountain and finally decided to do it, and it was wildly successful because past generations are always dumber than the present generation.
I will say, our generation was not the one eating horse paste or drinking their own urine. Say what you want about millennials, we have not done those.
Millennials, the new Depression era.
Oh, God. It's
The Depression era with smartphones.
We'd like to thank you, Herbert Hoover.
You know what? Maybe we need to revamp the national park system to get us out of there. Maybe that's exactly what we need. Build some new roads.
We could put... Oh my God. Hey, National Park Service. Okay, so this is Kay. I would love to do a Deaths in Yellowstone tour, audio tour, if you want me to record that, and then as people are driving through Yellowstone, when they stop at a place, they can find out about the death that happened there, and we can expand it to other national parks. I think that this would be a great thing to do.
And just to put this into perspective for how happy Kay is right now, the glow in their eye was not there when I asked them to marry me. So that's how excited they are for this idea.
Hey now. I'm not that excited. I just want to have everybody enjoy the Deaths in Yellowstone tour that we do whenever we go.
Kay just wants to talk to a busload of strangers and tell them about how other strangers died.
I'm kind of obsessed with theme park deaths. Okay, enough stalling. We've got to go rip the Band-Aid off and go watch the 8-time revived classic Rodgers and Hammerstein masterpiece.
Kay made a jerk-off motion.
Complete with coming.
So Kay said no stalling. Is that because you're starving for more? Do you want me to hold the door for you as we leave? Wait, that doesn't quite... That's pretty terrible.
God!
I might be a bad person.
Jesus Christ, Warren. Oh, fuck. Let's go. Hey, Warren.
Hey, Kay.
We've been gone a while.
We have been gone a while, and in that time, our wonderful patrons have continued to support us, and we cannot thank them enough. We have just been going through a lot, and knowing that not only did the people that support us continue supporting us, but we actually had growth while we were gone.
Yes.
Which is just amazing. A true silver lining in everything that's been going on, and I'm very, very appreciative and grateful. I really want to thank our new additions to the stage crew, Tyler McCarty and Shamick, and our new producer circle sponsor, Cookie.
Yes, thank you so much for joining and supporting our show even while we were away. And thank you to BeAnArtsHero, Taylor Brandt, Jesse, Jasmine, and Jeff for continuing to support our show. It really helps us out with just everything. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you all. It really was super appreciative to see all the support that we had while we were away, and it was a kind and happy encouragement for us to come back.
Yes, thank you Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We love you.
We love you very much.
Are you tired of Harry Potter? Want to get in on the next popular trend in young adult lit from 10 years before Harry Potter? Too bad. I'm Tyler.
I'm Nate.
And we're going to do a week-by-week analysis of the Animorphs.
Book reports.
90s nostalgia.
Two dumb idiots.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
And now, the lights are going down and the music's starting back up, so let's head back to the second act of our show. Well, that sure was a musical.
Yes, it was, Kay, and I have some things to say about that musical.
So do I. First off, I have some things that were missed. I looked up the year that it was first performed on Broadway, 1945, so there you go. It was supposed to be set in like 1873 and then 1883 or 87 for the last half of the show. Also, there were some changes in between the stage play and the movie. The stage play actually just sort of... It doesn't start the way that the movie does, where he's at the back door of heaven, like, putting up stars and shit. It starts more normally, and then you get to where he's in the back door of heaven.
And that's what I remember as a kid.
Yeah, and so that's how the stage play goes. But they also had originally had a series of characters who appeared to Billy after he died that are Mr. and Mrs. God, that were supposed to be like a minister and his wife.
Don't remember that one.
No, because that got cut.
Gotcha.
And in fact, there's a line from Rogers, we've got to get God out of that parlor, when they were dealing with how to handle God. And
Jesus, will you get your dad out of that parlor? Your mom's been in there. She hasn't come out. I think he's taken her down with him.
yeah, and so they ended up like turning him into the Star Keeper and then getting rid of Mrs. God. And so that's how that change happened. And
Typical patriarchy.
yeah, I don't know how I would have felt about Mr. and Mrs. God, because I don't feel like it would have been subversive in the same way as Green Pastures.
No, but it bothers me too, because I like that concept.
Yeah.
Because I always hate the whole Heavenly Father kind of thing. I'm like, yes, God would just be a dude, absolutely.
Yeah. So that was the stuff that I missed. There's other things about this show that exist, but we all know why you are really here. It is to watch us eviscerate one of the worst musicals, in my opinion, and in your opinion too, probably.
So, okay. Because life...
Yes.
We have had a few days to think about this show since we watched it.
Yes.
And I, in that time, have done my due diligence, and I've sloshed this show around in my brain and really thought about it. Is it as bad as I remember? Does it still, even with the changes, the laughably sanitized changes that I will talk about, does it still evoke the same gut-wrenching hatred that I had for it as a child? Yes and no. I am surprised and a little pleased, but mostly baffled about the things that I did like in the show. And the best way that I can describe it is it's like someone spilled polish on a turd. Is you're looking at it and you're just like, well, that's shiny. And then, but still a turd. It's still a turd, but it did have some shiny polish spilled on it.
It's like when you get a coprolite at the museum and you're like, oh, this is dinosaur shit, but it's polished.
This is polished dinosaur shit. Hey, that rock over there is the shit. It is. That shit pile is older than... Oh, I don't know. It's very old. Long time. However, before I get into the notes about this, I do need to make an apology. This is a rare Warren apology, an official statement from us here at Tone Deaf.
Oh, wow.
In the first half of this episode, I really went after kind of whole hog just any older generation, just like by saying that like everybody in the older generation is stupid kind of thing, and I absolutely did not mean that, because there are brilliant and completely insane people in every generation for all of human history, going back to Cro-Magnon and before.
Yes.
So, I apologize to broad slapping everybody in a generation older than me. I know that they're not all bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I know they're not all bad. There are some good ones.
Yes, there are some good ones.
But it's up to you to, slap the shit out of your contemporaries.
Because we can't. That's abuse if we do.
And I know you didn't ask me, but I know I also said a lot of horrible things about other people in the first half of the show. I don't apologize about anything else. Want to make clear about that. Only previous generations. I apologize for my statement about you. Anybody else I shit on, shit still stands. Speaking of shitting, should we talk about Carousel now?
Yes, let's deal with that polished turd.
Just a minor correction, Kay. It's not a polished turd. It is polish spilled on a turd.
Oh, so you didn't actually, put the work into polishing it. You just...
No, that's just some polish spilled on the turd. It's like if the script was a turd, and when you were inking, you accidentally dipped it in polish, and you were like, oh, well, I can't get that off now. I guess it's in there. It's a very odd comparison. It doesn't really work with the first one, but you know what? Temporary insanity is just a part of life at this point, I think. So, without further ado, we shall talk about Carousel, the movie, 1956. We open up with a guy on a ladder cleaning stars when some bow tie guy comes up and gives us the subtle context that, well, this is heaven, 'cause of all the clouds, thin layer of mist, and ladders used to climb up and clean stars with a rag. Anyways, there's trouble down there. What kind of trouble? Down in Earth? Big, mysterious trouble, 'cause Bowtie doesn't know the details of said trouble, but he does know that everyone in heaven gets one free day to go back to Earth. Kind of like a floating holiday, I guess, but stupid. Anyways, William Bill Fuckface Bigelow is just another dead guy on a ladder in heaven cleaning stars with a rag. On an unrelated question, how bad is hell? 'Cause heaven isn't looking that great at the moment. Okay, back on point. Bowtie Man eventually convinces Bigelow to use his one floating go back to Earth day and see what the unknown big trouble is with the family he left behind. He throws a star, which explodes in a fiery display as it transitions into the opening credits. After the opening credits, Bigelow shows up to the Star Cleaner's shift manager, who tells Bigelow he can't use his free day, because he's a douchebag who waived it when he arrived. Bigelow is like, okay. And he goes to leave, but the shift manager stops him. Whoa. I mean, we can make exceptions. How about you tell me your situation and give us some exposition so we might give a shit about your character? Bigelow then explains he was some carnival guy full of himself, and he regales us with a flashback. I even have it in here. Flashback, please. So, after the flashback, we find ourselves in a carnival where some pretty young ladies are walking around being innocent when one locks eyes with Bigelow, who is a carousel salesman. He barks and yells to people to ride the carousel. Super important job. He tells people
How else would people know that the carousel could be ridden? Perhaps the ticket station or line? No, it's the brave, handsome, egocentric man now eye-humping this young girl. Bigelow's boss comes out of her booth to chase Bigelow back to work. The girl eye-humping him pays up and takes a ride on the carousel and works the pole on the horse while she goes up and down, locking eyes with Bigelow, who just smiles. Kay's laughing because I'm on a yoga ball and I was bouncing around and making some gyrating motions. That's for you, listeners. After the ride, they get off and also leave the carousel to be chased by Booth Lady, who is very upset that Bigelow had a very visible Big-a-Little for Julie, her name is, and all her eye-humping she did of Bigelow. Booth Lady calls Julie and not Julie sluts and tells them to get lost. But Big Billy Big-a-Little brings himself into the conversation to be like, nah, this cute girl can come around whenever she wants. And Booth Lady is like, no, I'll fire you, 'cause you think you're so great. And Bigelow Buttface calls her bluff and is like, okay, I guess I'm fired. And Booth Lady is like, no, I just wanted you to know that I could fire you if I wanted to, but I won't. Please don't go. And Big-a-Little is like, nah, you're the boss. I'm gone. Well, actually, he asks Booth Lady to apologize to Julie, but she says no. So Big-a-Little is like, do it. And she's like, no. It's really very exciting to someone, I'm sure, this scene.
This scene, any scenes with I think her name was Mullins,
Booth Lady?
Yeah, I just hated every scene with her, and I hated every scene with Billy. There are not very many characters that you like in this.
I really don't understand their relationship dynamic. Is it supposed to be implied that they used to do stuff? Because Booth Lady Mulligan has a severe attachment to Bigelow. She pops up and she's there at the end and she cares about Bigelow.
Yeah, it's weird. It is weird as hell because it's like she doesn't want him to ever get married because it fucks up the sexual energy or whatever of him barking at girls to come to the ride, and it's like, that's not an important, like, I know that carnival barkers were important back then.
Were they really? Like, think about what...
Okay, not important, but they were a thing back then.
Like, think about the connotation that barking at people, like it has. They're obscene salesmen, or, hey, you want to win something for your pretty girl? Hey, get over here.
They were a thing, but it's weird to me.
I apologize that my carnival barker is just Coney Island, New York, whatever I'm pulling out of my ass.
That's what you think of when you think of carnival barker, is Coney Island, is, folks that when you go to the fair, they're trying to get you to come over. I remember at Lagoon, actually getting swayed by a barker to come play a game so that I could win a stuffed dog, and I did win.
Nice.
But
how much did you spend?
I can't remember. I refuse to look back and try and find out how much.
I'm gonna win that fucking dog.
Yeah, because it was back when I really wanted a beagle, and it was like a giant stuffed beagle.
Gotcha.
And but it works. It more, I feel like, goes towards anyone who doesn't have an attachment to money, like children. Which is weird that adults were brought over by, well, I kind of argue that Julie and her friend are not necessarily emotionally mature
absolutely not.
There's probably a big age gap between Julie and Bigelow.
It's jailbait, basically, is what it is.
Yeah.
She's
There's some problems there, but then there's also problems with Bigelow and the carousel owner, because chances are he was young coming in and she was trying to
Yeah, she was
groom
him.
him.
She was probably an older lady bringing in a younger man,
and that there is some sort of sexual tension between them that's weird as fuck.
because she spotted that Bigelow was locking eyes with Julie. The two of them were eye humping and whatnot, and she's like, get this skank out of here.
Yeah.
She's not doing this.
Yeah.
She wants Billy all to herself, but she wants Billy to not be attached so that he can somehow, through the power of his sexual magnetism and charisma, pulls in all the young girls to buy fucking carousel rides.
Yeah, it's weird. It is so weirdly written. And
It's so dumb.
it's dumb. It's creepy.
It's really dumb and creepy.
I hate it. I really hate it. I don't know. We'll get to it when we get to the end, but I feel like all of this show doesn't lead up to what the payoff is very well.
It's really baffling to me that this was as popular as it was.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's just because it's something that came out in a time when you didn't always have a lot of big media releases kind of thing. So it almost feels like the bar to be successful might have been lower than it is now. Because we have such an oversaturation of quality talent that it's really hard to, stand out.
And even then, I'm sitting here thinking about contemporary shows for this one, and I don't know. It is fucking baffling to me. But it is 1945, so it's like World War II is ending or just ended. And so there's a different attitude with regards to media, because we aren't quite yet into the 50s yet, where we have a lot of changes in theater and in media, and I don't know. And we're in the Hays Code era, which is also fucking weird.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of components.
There's so many components to why this show would have been successful at that time, but at the same time, I'm like, no, it's still trash. I'm a Carousel naysayer.
In watching this, there's nothing in it that to me, from anything we've seen of a contemporary period, that stands out or is exceptional or is better done here than elsewhere.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like the material that they're doing, I will give props. The guy that plays Bigelow is really good.
Yeah, he does a great job.
He's really good. The girl playing Julie is also very good in parts. I mean, she's okay. I don't know. She's a woman at the turn of the century who is in way over her head and has no rights.
She is an early Rodgers and Hammerstein love interest, is what she is. She is that trope. She's
there to change the man or something.
Yeah, she is that trope, and that's a thing that you're just gonna run into with stuff at this time period. But I think about things earlier than this show too that are better.
Way better. Yeah.
Way better. And Oklahoma came out before this.
Oklahoma. I
If
don't
I'm
like
stacking up Rodgers and Hammerstein shows
go.
from this era.
There you go.
I will pick Oklahoma every time.
And I'm not a huge fan of Oklahoma, and I would rather Oklahoma absolutely than Carousel.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I wish that I could like this, because some of the music without the lyrics is good. Because the music Rodgers and Hammerstein's
great.
music is great.
Nothing wrong with the music.
Some of the lyrics in this, we'll get to the clam bake song. They're just kind of what I don't have any attachment to any of this.
One of the things I always have an issue with in theater is there's so much great material out there. It always baffles me when they settle on material that doesn't, I don't know, that isn't good. Well, it's all subjective, but it just...
Some of the stuff, when you look at it from an objective standpoint, though, it's hard to... it is really hard for me to care about this show the same way as other shows that we've covered from around the 40s and the early 50s, like Singing in the Rain. I still like Singing in the Rain. There's some really bad, like, it like looking in hindsight, just going, whew, about that show.
There is some definite creep factor there, but you know what? He never fucking hit her.
Yeah, he never hit her. And
That's big. That's a big
That's
plus.
a big plus. And the show isn't, look at this despicable man and, oh, but it's actually about the daughter. So?
You know,
We're getting to it, but like...
we're talking around it a lot. We should probably
Yeah,
get
we
to
should
it.
we should get to it, but like it's... I just struggle with this show.
Uh-huh.
I struggle with this show, and I'm sitting here remembering why I only ever watched it once when I was a kid.
Yeah. And you're a musical theater kid, so this is... And with how little I got exposed to musicals in general growing up, this is definitely not one that would have come anywhere near my radar.
And I was the kid whose grandparents had a box set of VHSs of Rodgers and Hammerstein shows. We only saw this one once.
It just went back into its cover.
It went back into
Sat on
its
the
cover.
shelf.
We put Oklahoma in, and we were fine. That was like the second time watching Oklahoma. Maybe third.
Okay, so, Bigelow's fired. Bigelow's fired, called Mulligan's... Is it Mulligan? Mullen? Booth Lady. This is why I called her
Booth
Booth Lady.
Lady.
Booth Lady's bluff. And she told him, don't come back, and she ain't taking him back like she has before. Mm-hmm. So it's Julie, and not Julie. The ladies ask Bigelow what he'll do now, and he's like, I guess I'll have a beer. One of you, buy me a beer? Now. Money, pull it out. How much you got? Enough for a beer? And not Julie cries in fear as a large man tells her to give him her money for beer. Bigelow tells Julie to speak girl to not Julie, and Julie is able to calm her not self down. Bigelow reveals what a needless prick he is just by being. Mm-hmm. And then he goes, I guess I can buy mine this time. So he has money to buy his own beer, but he's bullying young girls into giving him money to buy beer for himself.
Yep.
And it's and for whatever reason, fucking Julie is just drooling over this guy.
He is trash. He is trash incarnate.
Cut to Julie meeting up with not Julie. Oh, sorry, did I skip over? Cut to Julie meeting up with not Julie, who is now named Carrie. Anyway, Carrie is titillated and tells Julie about her new man, who smells like fish or something. Anyways, now this Mr. Snow has offered Carrie his fish stick in marriage. And Carrie said,
I guess.
but she's singing about how happy she is and how much she loves Mr. Snow. She loves him so much, she's out hugging trees, imagining they're Mr. Snow. Shit, now I want to hug Mr. Snow. Oh, sounds like this guy's good to hug. Anyways, snow's over, and Julie hugs Carrie, and the two walk off. Then stop, at some point, by a fucking tree, and Julie is like, we have to stop and wait here for Bigelow, who shows up to be like, the fuck you two doing here? And he tells Carrie to leave, so that he can be alone with Julie. Carrie and Julie explain that they work at the mill, and that they live at the mill. They are mill people. And if they don't go back to their mill mom, they won't get their milk, and they will lose their mill personhood and be cast out of the mill. Bigelow is like, so if you miss your curfew, you gets fired. That's lame. How else am I supposed to lure pretty, unexperienced girls into the woods all by themselves? And Carrie tries to get Julie to snap out of her psychotic episode and leave Bigelow by the tree, but she doesn't. And Carrie is forced to leave her friend alone with a stranger, a aggressive man who demands money from women. Anyways, Bigelow and Julie sit and talk for a bit. Bigelow asks if she has a boyfriend, and Julie says no, and Bigelow comments on how obedient she is and how she must have a man because she's so good at being obedient.
This is like Red Flag the musical.
Julie tells him that she came here because she was worried about him being alone. Bigelow calls Julie stupid and reminds her that he's a hot 18 fucking 70 dickhole, whatever, ball of shit, piece of Carousel barking ass, and he could be giving Carousel rides to any girl.
That is an accurate description of how I feel the 1800s were, so...
I mean, this is like less than a decade after after the Civil War.
Yeah,
so.
no, this is people were out of pocket. People are
yeah. Shit. Yep. Shit.
God damn.
Shit. Julie agrees, and that all the girls love Bigelow, and Bigelow leans all back, content in himself. It's about this time that Julie's boss comes by, on his way to receive his own milk from the teat of the mill mother.
I hate that.
But he's concerned for a young woman being alone with a strange man in the woods. A beat cop also shows up and reveals that Bigelow has a rap sheet, and that his mark is pretty young ladies who he swoons and then robs before skipping town to work at some other fucking carousel. 'Cause that's his specialty. Carousels. Now, maybe my American history is lacking, but has Carousel Barker ever been a real job? A real reliable enough job that this dick can hop from carousel to carousel and always have work?
Well, Warren, I'm glad that you asked this, because I was going to tell you later, but we have a special guest with us today. We have the founder of the Carousel Barker Institute. I'm kidding.
You saw me reaching for my gun, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm getting back on track. So, Mill Daddy tries to get Julie to come back to the mill.
What?
Yeah, Julie's boss. He's the Mill Daddy. He owns the mill. He's Mill Daddy. But he's got to get back to the mill before sundown to receive their milk from Mill Mother's tit, because that is what makes them mill people. Because if they don't get their daily allotment, they'll be shunned and cast out of the mill womb. And
what is that what you think working in a mill is?
Well, I didn't until these women explained that they live at the mill, work at the mill, and that if they don't return to the mill every night, they'll be cast out. So I assume that there is some kind of chemical need or something going on. There's some exchange happening when these girls go to the mill that makes it so that they can venture out and make it back. There's some chemical trigger that happens at sundown if they're not back in time. And I assume, they're young girls, I assume that there's just this large mill mother hanging from the ceiling of the mill with descended nipples, like long tubes, and the different mill girls have to come in, suckle from the teat of mill mother to get their strength back. They rest at the mill, they work at the mill, and then they're able, to go out and socialize, but they have to be back at feeding time. If they're not back at milking feeding time, then they lose their mill personhood, and they're cast out of the mill. Why are you laughing? I feel like I have explained this very scientifically. I may not be a biologist, but I think mill people might be an extinct species, a split-off of Homo sapien, but there wasn't enough, genetic difference for them to really stand out.
Holy fuck.
Anyways, Mill Daddy tries to get Julie to come back to the mill, and all will be forgiven. Julie doesn't want to go, because she's dumb, and entranced by this peak specimen of manliness. Tell me more about carousels, Billy. Oh, God. Ugh, feel bad. Get that out of my...
God, the peaks on that.
Sorry. So, Mill Daddy and Beat Cop fuck off, and Julie tells Billy to continue his story about another woman that he knew in Coney Island.
It's one of those things where it's like they brought these two people in that should have been the, hey, Julie, don't fucking do this.
Yeah.
Julie, red flags.
Criminal record.
Yeah.
And your boss is like, Julie, this is not... And the fucking thing about this, too, is this is just I almost feel like, to an extent, this is a little bit of a cautionary tale. There's a little bit of propaganda in here being like, do what you're told, young ladies, or you'll get knocked up and left widowed with a fucking child by some scummy carnival barker.
God.
Do you want to carry Barker DNA in your child?
You should carry mill DNA.
Male DNA.
Feed from the milk mother. Receive your strength, Julie.
So I was originally going to title this... Ooh.
I'm sorry, Kay. Please continue. I didn't mean to cause that. It's times that I wish that we had video, except then I'd have to be on video. But I just wish I could share that reaction with the world.
I was going to title this Red Flag the Musical, but this mill people discussion.
We are the mill people, we are the mill people. Come to the mill and receive a drink. We work at the mill, we live at the mill, and we suck from mother's teat.
See, and then this is my issue with any kind of musical thing, is I can whip out about 2 lines, and then I draw a blank after that.
Oh, God.
I would have kept going with mill people.
I'm crying.
I would have kept going, but I couldn't think. See, that's a good laugh when you make someone cough.
Oh, my God.
I love it.
Oh, my God.
So, anyways, Bigelow is, like, taken aback by Julie. Even he is like, wow, she can't be this stupid, can she? And Bigelow suggests that they go into town and dance. But no, Julie can't, as she has to consider her character, because she's never getting married, which means she has to curb the expectation that she's a slut. She'll find the middle ground by convolutedly getting Bigelow to say he'll marry her so that she can say she loves him, and that she would die for him, so that he can be, like, blown away by simple Julie here and her dumb, broken, pre-1940s woman written by two-man brain, which sings about how if she loved him, she'd do this and this and that, and yeah, great singer, and so on. The entire time Bigelow is listening to Julie sing, you can see this baffled, bewildered look at one point, and I almost mistook it for shreds of his soul, but no. As soon as Julie is done singing about how much she would, do these things if she loves him, Bigelow goes, well, anyways, you don't love me. Isn't that what you said?
My God.
And fuck,
My God.
I guess she kept singing about if she loved him, she'd do yada yada. If I loved you, and you gotta think just the look he has, you're like, but you're saying if you loved me, you get over here and tickle my balls, but you don't love me. So it's just, that's his attitude, the way he just has a squinted kind of like, huh?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you're saying you would do this stuff if you love me, but you don't. You're trying to play hard to get. You're trying to... I'm giving him much more of an accent than he had. But
yeah.
It's just how I talk like this asshole.
Well, because they're supposed to be like Maine or Connecticut or one of those northeastern states that has... all white people.
Okay, see, I'm not good. I can't do a deep voice very well, so I have to settle for gravelly, and I eat cigarettes. So, eat cigars.
That's why your Harvey Firestein is fucking on point.
Like a goggle broken glass. Okay, the entire time Bigelow is listening to Julie, Julie comments on the blossoms on a tree. Wait, did I skip over a note? Okay, no. Wow.
Yeah, no, this show is fucking all over the goddamn place.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you.
It's hard to, I am commending you for taking notes during this shit, because some of it, it's like, if you look down, then it's like, how the fuck did I get there? And then it's like, oh no, they just jumped.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
They just fucking jumped.
Okay. So that makes sense why it goes from him being like, yeah, you would love me if you did, but you don't. And then Julie comments on the blossoms on a tree and how there's not much wind. And Bigelow just belches out some Bigelow philosophy about what's the point? They're just a couple of specks. And he says that Julie is a funny kid and that he's never met anyone like her.
A funny kid.
Uh-huh.
Kid.
Then he backs off and accuses her of being a witch trying to get him to marry her because he's thinking about it. And that's not like him. Bigelow then sings his own If I Loved You song, and damn, dude can sing. But after his song, he's like, nah, marriage is dumb, and I'm not dumb. The tree blossoms fall on their own, and now it's their still time, and Bigelow walks over to Julie, puts his arms around her, and kisses her passionately. Then the couple walk off.
Yep.
Just from zero to
Oh, God.
And the next morning, we see a fisherman talking to Julie's aunt, being like, so the whole town is talking about how your slut niece left with that carousel barker. Mighty peculiar. Julie's aunt tells the fisherman to shut his bass hole and give her some big red lobster. And who comes in but Julie with her fiancé, Billy? And yes, it is awfully soon to be getting married, even for pre-1940s hell that's fast for Utah even saying. I mean,
I would argue that I've known some Utahns who, they want to fuck so badly.
Oh, okay, you're talking like fast track, like...
Yes.
Gotcha.
They want to fuck so bad, but they're Mormon, so they have to get married first, and then they're surprised that it doesn't work.
Surprised they don't do that. I'm surprised they don't do that, hop over to another state, get married, bang, annul, come back.
Yeah, no. Honestly, that would save so much heartache, because... then they're not bringing children into it.
You know what would cause more what would help more heartache is having proper sexual education.
Yes, no, that
and
would
telling
be...
your children that their natural bodily urges are not a punishment from God or a sin or evil or bad.
Yeah, no, that would be the smart thing to do. But we are the state who decided that we were done with the pandemic before everybody else, and now we are one of the highest amounts of COVID cases.
I really hate stupid people.
This
is coming from somebody who's only moderately intelligent. I fucking hate stupid people.
I miss feeling like I could go outside. I am angry at our state right now. I am furious.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to mail order my chickens, but I may have to mail order my chickens. Yeah. I'm fucking pissed. Then again, I won't get followed in IFA.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Okay. Anyways, fuck. Back to this, from one terrible topic to another. Anyways, it cuts back to Heaven, where Bigelow is explaining to Heaven's shift supervisor that, well, you see, he was just never good at being a husband. And, after all, he's a carousel barker, man. And there's only one carousel in town, so he can't work, obviously. He has to keep up the proud family tradition of being a carousel barker. This fucking chode.
My dad was a carousel barker. My dad's dad was a carousel barker. His dad's dad was a carousel barker.
We built a carousel, sailed it across the fucking ocean, landed at Plymouth Rock, and started giving rides to the fucking Indians. Do you understand me? I will always be a carousel barker. So, that
would have improved the show.
I feel like there's a missed opportunity. The entire time I'm watching this show, I keep rewriting it in my head to be like, the goal of this show, at least from my perspective, and I don't know the source material, I don't know, but I feel like maybe what they're trying to do is give humanity to an inhumane person. That's what it feels like to me. And so the way you do that is you gotta make them sympathetic.
Yeah.
You gotta have this guy talk about how his dad used to beat the shit out of him or something like that. And so he had to grow up to be really tough because at one point he got big enough to stop his dad, you know?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And that would explain, you know, it wouldn't excuse his shitty behavior.
Oh, no.
But it would give you a character with depth that you can go, you know... You have, at least you go, yeah, this monster was made by another monster.
Yeah.
And he's not as much of a monster as the monster who made him, kind of thing. So you could do something like that, but no, he just, and maybe he has a thing about he's afraid of doing anything else because he might be bad at it. Because all he's ever been good at is conning people and schmoozing people and selling things. So if he had to do an honest, labor-intensive work, maybe he's worried I'm not tough enough to handle it, and then I would have to tell my wife that I failed and I can't provide for her. So it's easier to just not fucking do something because then you won't fail. And you could do something like that, and it would give him so much more character.
Yeah.
But no, he's just a fucking douchebag who beats his wife, doesn't work, and complains all the time.
When we get to the ballet, I have my own take on how they could have done this.
Cool. I would love to hear it. Okay, so... yeah, this fucking chode. Anyways, some exposition is given about how the Bigelows, remember, because he's married, were living with a cousin and mooching off of them, which Billy is fine with, because he's a mooch. Fucking mooch piece of shit. Anyways... June is busting out all over this next scene, so bring a tissue, because everyone is wet with excitement about June. Yes, June. June. Fucking June, you guys!
You know, this song, like, when I was a kid, the only part that I knew was that June is busting out all over. Because my grandmother was named June and would make a joke about that. And they, like, when I was really little, the innuendo in the song just went over my fucking head.
Of course.
And now I'm rewatching it going, wow, this song is horny as fuck. Like, okay, I am a June baby, which kind of makes me go, well, obviously June isn't the horniest time. It's September. Is that 9 months?
No, it's February because Valentine's babies are born in November. So February is the horniest.
But like, you know, I'm I'm a June kid. Like, I was born in June, so it doesn't really. I don't know.
No, so you're busting out. It's coming out of the womb.
Yeah,
He is busting out all over.
I got scared out of the womb by a stock car. Now I'm terrified of loud noises, and I don't even... damn it. Now I can't do the whole thing, but yeah, like, I don't know. This song is horny, and it's like, I kind of get it, because it's kind of like how we joked about springtime in Peru with the birds.
Body clocks, yeah.
Yeah, that
it's
your
nice
body
weather.
Clock goes, oh, it's nice weather and the sun's out. Time to fuck. But that works more with things with a shorter gestation period or incubation time than it does with something that has a baby in 9 months. So you're having your baby when it's dark and cold.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, it also, though, this song exemplifies a thing about humanity. Because there was so much courtship dancing. Humans really are just featherless bipeds.
There are definitely some overlapping similarities between the two. I would absolutely agree.
Y'all are just featherless bipeds.
Give each other shiny things as well as courtship things.
Yeah.
Bring each other food. Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there's singing. Singing is a big thing with human
dancing.
courtship rituals, just like with birds. Dancing is a huge thing.
Just
like with birds.
And at most cultures' marriage ceremonies, they have performers who will sing, and there will usually be dancing, as well as the newly mated pair dancing.
Exactly.
So, Kay, you raise some interesting points.
Humans are just a step away from dancing on the water like a bunch of grebes.
No, I would say we're several 100 pounds away from, well, not several, I mean...
That's why they're inventing jetpacks. That is my theory. Is just so that humans can dance on the water.
Well, we have those water jetpacks.
We do have those water jetpacks. And, like, you have things like Thumbelina where they're dancing on top of the water and shit. No, humans, featherless bipeds. Plato was right. Suck it, Diogenes.
Suck it, Diogenes. Because June is busting out all over. So, back to June, which is currently in the process of busting all over. A lady is singing about how flaccid May was, but boy is June busting out all over.
June is strong. June is just throbbing.
June is just swell with anticipation. Some people are so full of June they can feel it in their hearts. Which it's like you don't want to be that full of because you've gone through a lot of organs to get to the heart.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. It's kind of, it would be kind of funny to take a survey of these Hays Code era musicals and figure out if they're any hornier than musicals after the Hays Code era, because there's no, you don't have to do innuendo in the same way that you do in Hays Code era stuff.
And that's the thing the thing with the Hays Code era horniness is that it was creepy because it was often directed at young, innocent, vulnerable, naive. It was not, it was all about, and it was very much a male empowerment, assertiveness over a younger, societally weaker female. There was very few were there balances in the power dynamics. Was the male character at a female equal? There was usually.
And it was rare for you to have a older woman as a love interest. An older woman as in 30 and up, not actual older woman.
Exactly. It's got to be a guy in his late 30s or 40s with a 19-year-old.
Yeah, as soon as they turn 25, that's
the end of their career.
Their pussy is dust. There's it's just dried up. Nothing. 25, ooh,
just spitting
so old.
Sahara all over the scene. Oh, God.
Sorry to be so vulgar, but this is tone deaf.
I love
but
my wife.
Also, I love you. But, it's Hays Code era horniness is weird shit, because the innuendos get creative. On the one hand, I kind of miss it, but on the other hand, I'm kind of like, I don't like that we're having so many double meanings in a song that when I was a kid, I associated with my grandmother, and now I'm like, no, this is a song about fucking.
I mean, it basically is. I mean, that's what it's leading up to, because June is they're because we're talking. We're going to talk about the clam bake later. It's all about pairing off, having food, and
fucking. I don't know why I view things from such a weird perspective. Well, I do know why, but it felt like watching a nature documentary a little bit for me.
Here we see the humans in their natural habitat upon planks of wood that they have cut and extended beyond the ocean's shore. Okay, so we're back to people so full of June that it's about to bust in their hearts. I've heard of, people having their guts rearranged, but... I think you're dead, mate. Everyone in the scene does some tumbling in the background as a plank full of semen dock and offload right in front of all the women. The seamen dance for a while, demonstrating their Gumby-like ankles and knees that make me want to cry to watch. It does appear that the seamen are in a dance-off with the fishermen, so I guess it's salty spats left and right on this dock. Okay. The dancing continues. Though now the seamen have taken off their shirts. Yep. And the ladies are literally on the edge of the roof watching the display. The strange courtship dance ends, thankfully, and we see Julie looking for Billy, who, apparently is dodging her. Lucky
Humans
for him.
are so fucking weird.
Lucky for him, his buddy is keeping an eye out so he can tell him that the old ball and chain has left the dock. Billy's friend, Jigger,
I hate the name,
tells Billy about a plan to get money, but it involves a knife and a clam bake and maybe murder. But just maybe. Bill tells him he's not doing it, so no.
Oh my god, I don't know who's worse, honestly, because at least Jigger is true to himself.
Jigger maintains no delusions about him and his place in society.
Yeah.
And he has a conversation with... Because I didn't put this in my notes, I don't think. But he has a conversation with Billy at one point about the afterlife and being like, guys, he tells Billy, guys like us, now we're going to hell. Kind of thing. He's like, no, we're going to hell. We're not goody two shoes.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And he's like, besides, he's like, heaven's boring and stuff like that is what he I think he tries to say.
Yeah, and it's like Billy thinks his shit don't stink.
You see, and that's the thing with Billy, they had opportunities to try and give him depth.
Yes.
And so I want to try and give him depth because I don't want to believe that he's as shittily one-dimensional as he is written and performed, more or less.
Yep.
Like, I don't remember the name of the actor, and I don't really fucking care that much because it's Carousel. But I'm going to say, he did a good job. He's probably a nice guy, but I fucking hate his guts.
Yes.
Because of this role. So... anyways, Julie meets up with Carrie, who is told by Julie's aunt about how Billy hit Julie on Monday. Julie tries to make excuses for Billy, who, again, he can only hit her because he's upset he can't, get work. Carousel barking. And apparently he can't do any fucking labor job either. Motherfucker can't carry a shovel or push a cart or wash a... He can't do... Okay. Anyways, Julie is being introduced to Mr. Snow, who is a fine, upstanding kind of man who seems to be the exact opposite of Billy. And then Mr. Snow and Mr. Bigelow try to meet. Billy is a dick, insulting Mr. Snow and his herring boat, 'cause it smells like fish. Go figure. It gets revealed that initially Carrie was going to have her soon-to-be husband offer Billy a job, but not anymore. Billy says that he's fine because working on a herring boat would stink. Ha 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 ha, this fucking show. Anyways, Carrie and Mr. Snow storm off, and Billy is like, go ahead, do it, say it. Say how I'm lame, that I didn't take it. And Julie is being like, the abuse sponge that she is, just capitulates to Billy, eventually telling him to sit and that she'll bring him his dinner. A woman in a fancy hat shows up. It's the Carousel booth lady, and she's come to try and lure back Billy to the Carousel life with a ruby ring and fresh pussy. All the girls miss charming Carousel Barker Billy. Fuck this show.
God.
Billy, I got a shiny red ring, and you're missing all this pussy over here, Billy. Billy, come over here and get this pussy.
My God.
So, Julie overhears Billy thinking about leaving and going back to the Carousel life, and she plops his dinner on the table. She tells Billy that she's got something to tell him, and that they have to do it alone. It will only take a minute. Booth lady leaves and Julie gives the news that she's incubating the Carousel Barker's sperm. And in time, they'll have a little baby Carousel Barker of their own.
God.
Billy's eyes light up, and all of a sudden, he gives a shit. He cares about Julie, asking if she should be walking up the stairs. He rushes past her, holds open the door, and ushers his wife in, as gentle as an animated China doll. Billy tells Booth Lady to fuck off because he's going to be a father, and Booth Lady laughs and laughs all the way back to her carousel. Billy then goes down to the beach to sing about how his son is going to be great, and he won't let his wife make a sissy out of him. He sings about how his son will be good at all types of different professions, but Billy continues singing about the possibilities of his unborn penis within the continuation of his name, and then, because he says he'll name him Billy or William, whatever, but then he's struck with the, what if it's a girl? And then he has to sit with the realization that he sucks, which, why would you only realize this with a girl? Having a son would require you to not suck as well, Billy. So, I am wondering if this part has changed because I don't remember him singing fondly of his potential daughter. So he gets +1 point in this regard, because at least he's not like, oh no, a daughter, but I'm only good at being in vaginas, not around them. Billy has the horrible revelation that if it is a daughter, men like him are in the world, and he doesn't want his daughter to be shacked up with bums like him. He's got to be prepared and make sure that she has what she needs to not wind up like her mother with a husband like him. Really, Billy runs back to the dock and makes it in time to go with Julie to the clam bake. They've got to celebrate the baby, right? Billy seems like a new man and is beginning is being good and tells Julie that when the baby is born, they should go to San Francisco. The kid can come too, I guess. And I laugh my ass off at his delivery of the fucking line. Oh my god, you guys! Just that line. He's like, "Hey, maybe after the baby's born, we go to San Francisco. The kid could come too, I guess."
Yeah. Fuck that kid, I guess.
like you just where you have a child, the child is tied to that state. You're not allowed to take them anywhere else. It's just
My God.
Listen, little Billy, we'd love to take you with us to San Francisco, but it says right here on your birth certificate, fucking New England, whatever, Vermont, piece of bullshit, Connecticut, Maine. It's all the fucking same. I don't know. I know nothing. But I do want to take a minute and talk about the difference that I remember from the version that I saw. Mm-hmm. And again, I was a wee little lad, so my memory of things is, of course, incomplete. Mm-hmm. But the things that stuck out, that I've carried with me, I do think are still accurate. Mm-hmm. Because just the way that I hate to use the term trauma, just because it wasn't trauma, but the way that it sticks in the brain is the same response as trauma, in that you don't forget those details. So, because of how much I fucking hated this show when I was a kid, the version that I remember seeing, I don't recall the song having anything to do with a daughter in it, and I don't know if that's a change or if I am remembering completely incorrectly, because I was fixated on him talking about how his son's gonna be able to do whatever the fuck he wants, he doesn't give a damn, his son can do no wrong just because he's got a dick. Like, I don't remember him talking about a daughter at all. My perspective was that he was completely blindsided that he had a daughter until he comes back to Earth later.
Yeah, and what it could be is either that they abridged it because it was a high school, or because of how short the time is where he's talking about having a daughter, it's easy to not realize it.
It's possible, because
he spends most of the song singing about having a boy, and it's just at the very end of the song that he sings about the possibility of having a girl.
And it's frustrating, too, because that bit is some character growth. That's some character development fucking there. He's aware that he, as glorious as he pretends to be, he's aware that he's a piece of shit.
Yes.
And he does not want his daughter to wind up with someone like him.
Yes.
That is some fucking growth. I'm like, that makes me more interested in Billy's character.
Yes.
The fact that he might actually be harboring some self-loathing, that he feels like a loser, and that's why he's a dick.
Yeah.
Because he's lashing out, because he's a fucking child.
Absolutely.
And of course it's, America, men can't show emotions, you're a sissy, that kind of shit. So instead of having a breakdown and maybe fucking crying or something, he instead punches his wife.
Yeah. No, it's the way it goes. It's the way it goes.
So, okay. Anyways, Mr. Snow and Carrie are on a boat. So when Billy rushes back to be like, hey, let's go on the clam bake, they're gonna ride on the boat on Mr. Snow's boat with Carrie. Mr. Snow and Carrie. So it's two couples on a boat together. So Mr. Snow and Carrie sing about what their lives will be like when their 4 children are asleep upstairs while they're up drinking because they're parents and kids are stressful. Anyways, the scene changes to the clam bake and everyone is digging for some reason.
Clams.
I know, but... Jigger is playing the accordion as everyone sings about how nice the clam bake was. Then people continue to sing about how they took lobster, covered it in butter, ate it with their bare hands because they weren't fucking around, and Mama didn't raise no sponge. So yeah, just it was especially funny in that scene with I think it's a woman who's talking about tearing the lobster apart with her bare hands and eating it.
Yeah,
and stuff.
it's such that was another scene that made me go, this is a fucking nature documentary.
You know what? Point to the raven, y'all.
Yes.
Point to the bird.
I'm just watching this going like, humans are animals. Y'all are animals and need to deal with that fact. And once you realize it, you'll be free.
There we go.
But no, it was funny to me because it didn't feel out of place of, oh, we were watching as this group of fish-eating animals. Like, what? We're watching, I don't know,
Hairless
bears.
mammalians.
We're watching fucking bears at Katmai eating fish and gorging themselves, and they're all on the waterfall together, gorging. And it just, I don't know, it was very funny to me watching it, because it felt like I was watching National Geographic or some shit.
The parallel can be drawn very reasonably.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
It works better as a nature documentary than as a musical.
See, now it's making me think it would be really funny to like get footage of people enjoying themselves at festivals and then doing a nature documentary voice over it. Okay. So the party continues, and the party continues singing about how they're warm and full of food, and that this was a nice clam bake. And, they all had a really nice time. But we know that Billy is going to die, so I'm betting this really nice time is gonna go sideways, and the ball is rolling as Mr. Snow and Carrie go out to hide the clam bake treasure, and Jigger sneaks off to spy. But he sees Carrie and decides to home wreck instead. He tells Carrie that there are scary, dangerous men out there who might try to hurt her, but he could show her some self-defense moves. He basically teaches her how to pull him in so that he can grab her ass, and ass grab he does, but not before carrying her out of the woods and right into Mr. Snow, who thinks the worst of the situation because, well, yeah, Jigger made it look like that to Mr. Snow. So Mr. Snow breaks up with Carrie and calls her a whore in front of everyone. Carrie sobs after her rich fiancé, but is scooped up by Jigger, who then does this song about how Carrie should never be happy with a guy like Snow, and Julie has a part about being, I don't want to say in love, because she's in servitude, and the way that she describes running when he calls her, girl, you're his bitch. That's what you are to him. Like, she's just singing to everybody about, the way I feel when he calls my name, you know, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
come here, Julie, come here.
Yeah,
We cut back to Bigelow and Jigger, who are tossing a knife around and waiting to commit crimes. So they decide to play cards, and, because Billy sucks, he bets away all of his money that he doesn't have. And before he can beat up Jigger, who he thinks is cheating, who turns the corner but Mill Daddy, and he's supposed to have money to rob. Bill goes to fulfill his part of the robbery by asking for the time, but when Jigger ambushes Mill Daddy shows his own moves and disarms the man and pulls out a pistol. Jigger runs for it and escapes, and Billy is caught between Mill Daddy and the Fuzz. Billy tries to escape through the ceiling, but falls down and ends up stabbing himself in the stomach with a knife. This fucking guy. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyways, Julie finds her way to Billy and holds his hand while he dies. Rest in hell, Bigelow. Oh, and Booth Lady shows up to cry over Billy's dead body too before looking at Julie and leaving. Julie returns to Billy's side and covers him with her shawl like a blanket. Like he's cold or some shit. I thought she was gonna cover his face, but no. She saw that Billy was sleeping right here on the cobblestone and he needed a little blankie so he could nap peacefully. Anyways, Julie cries and says that she never told Billy that she loved him, but she does. Which, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's one way you've lived your life. Anyways, Julie cries into her aunt's chest. Her aunt asks her if she remembers the Some song, and Julie sings a bit before stopping to cry. and Auntie finishes the song while Julie cries into her, and it's the "You'll Never Walk Alone."
Yeah, Bob Dole's favorite song.
Bob Dole.
I'm Bob Dole.
I'm Bob Dole.
It's such a weird scene to me, especially the "I never said I loved you." It's like, you mean you didn't say it at your wedding? You didn't say it during sex? You didn't say it ever?
You didn't say anything sweet when he was pumping you full of his seed.
What the fuck?
There's no pillow talk.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Like, oh god, these people.
Yeah,
These fucking people.
you know,
Also-
he just told Julie to not make any noise and told her it was good for her.
God, like, this is so fucked.
You
This
know?
is so fucked.
He stopped by right before going out with Jigger. Like, you know, hey,
Yeah.
hon, bam, bam, I'll be back later.
Seriously.
Clean yourself up.
It's there's so much fucked up shit in this scene too. Like the carousel lady, I just especially that Julie feels she has to move for the carousel lady to come over, and it's like, nah, bitch, if my husband, if you were dead on the ground, first of all, I'd wonder how you managed to get into a series of situations where you stabbed yourself with a knife falling down.
You might be wondering how I got here.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, in the stage play, he stabs himself
See, and I think that they cut that out for us.
as a school, which understandable.
Here, this makes me laugh, though. They're okay with the misogyny and the wife beating and the violence, but they're not okay with that violence. They're not okay with that, but they're okay with the other stuff.
It's why your school never did Romeo and Juliet.
Not that I remember.
I'm
or
joking.
cared. But anyway, sorry. But yeah, but that was the thing, is I remember him dying. I don't remember how he died. I don't remember the circumstances. With that show in my childhood brain, I remember abusive asshole singing about his son, dead, wasn't good enough to get in through the front gate of heaven, and then decides to go back, finds out he has a daughter, hits his daughter, then leaves.
Yeah.
Da 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 da. I was a kid and watched this. God, I hated it.
Yeah, no, it's just like, if I had seen, like, if this had happened and I was in Julie's place and your ex showed up or something.
That would be my death would have been the snapping thread of your sanity, and you would have been this. So in Game of Thrones, there's this wall in the north, the ice wall, that's like 800 feet fucking high, and it's keeping out giants and scary shit. So that wall in your head would have come down, and all of your Hulk suppressed trauma, you would have ripped her in half,
Like a phone book.
like Juggernaut did to Deadpool.
Yes.
Like, it would have been. Your muscles would have torn themselves apart in this primal exertion of all of your rage, and then you probably would have died as a result of ripping a human in half.
Yes. Or I would have stood there and, you know, the videos of owls where they puff up their arms and just... That would have been me.
Oh my god, I just thought of something that would be really fucking hilarious. When it's safe to go out in the world again and you're, like, in places, if someone's crowding you too much in line, do a display.
Yes. I've had to suppress that urge.
That would be funny.
Because that's sort of my go-to,
Funny as
is
fuck.
display and be like, get the fuck out of my face.
6 feet, motherfucker.
6 feet.
Okay, so...
It's too bad we don't have video, because people are missing out on what it looks like.
You're so cute and silly, I love it. Anyways, Julie's aunt finishes the You'll Never Walk Alone song, which is not bad, but the song ends with, we're back up in heaven, where the shift manager is like, huh, so that's how it is, you suck. And Billy talks about how he'd like to smash Jigger's skull in, but shift manager reveals that Jigger is in hell.
Which isn't in the play.
No, I don't recall that either.
He gets no comeuppance.
No comeuppance that we see. We got some more back and forth between Heaven's shift manager and Billy, as it gets revealed that he's got a 15-year-old daughter who is unhappy and needs help. Look down at this unhappy child running on the beach and enjoying life. Anyways, Heaven's probation officer comes to get Billy for his one floating return to Earth day, and he takes him to the beach where his daughter is frolicking miserably with 3 boys. When who do we see but Mr. Snow and his gaggle of children, all looking very posh and looking down their noses at the beach children and their commoner clothing. Anyway,
It's Mr. Snow and his fucklings.
yes, little fucklings, his spermlings.
They even follow like little fucklings.
Come, jizzlings. Anyways,
Cumlings.
Cumlings.
I like fucklings because it reminds me of ducklings, but cumlings is a little bit more accurate.
And cumlings rolls off the tongue better. Especially you can go, cumlings. And that's what you're saying, cumlings, as in like younglings, maybe. Like there's a way that you can work it, that you can rationalize it to the common man so that they don't think that you're just calling them jizz tumors, you know?
He slaughtered a whole room of cumlings.
No. He slaughtered the cumlings.
I've never seen the prequels. I will say that right now. I know I misquoted that.
They have some shiny sword fights, and they wiggle their hands around a lot and make stuff move. And there is some okay story stuff, but mostly it's spectacle. That's it. But anyway. Oh my god. Okay, anyways, Mr. Snow tries to lead his rich children away from the poor ones, but the eldest daughter splits off to degrade Billy's daughter, Louise, for being poor and having a dead thief for a dad. Louise doesn't take kindly to this and chases after the girl, presumably beating her up, because a few moments later Louise emerges with the other girl's fancy hat as a triumphant trophy. The beach kids decide to crash a rich people party and do it for a bit before stumbling on the weirdest fucking thing. A bunch of people ballet dancing, a carousel scene, demonstrating great physical strength and skill, but also looking really, really weird in the process. It even gets weirder when one of the carousel dancers breaks off to dance grope Louise and put her on a real carousel horse instead of one of the ladies in leather he picked up and moved her around like a carousel horse. Listeners, I understand how this all sounds, and I also wish this pile was easier to describe, but alas.
I will say that, like, at first, with the hoods that the girls were wearing, I didn't read those as horses.
No, I didn't either. They were like cats.
Yeah, they were cat ears.
Because they were like, they were just these pointy leather hoods.
Yeah. So, folks, horse ears don't look like cat ears.
No, they had 2 pointy cat ears, and they were in skin-tight leather.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, like, what?
Yeah, they didn't even...
What BDSM porno did we wander into?
Yeah,
like,
they weren't colored like a carousel horse.
No,
so they were colored like
tight black leather,
like a bunch of Catwoman strippers. Is what they looked like. No.
I heard you want to ride the carousel.
God, I hate how well I can do that. Okay. So, yes, difficult to describe. Anyways, we get a lull in the dancing for the point to finally arrive. You see, Louise had a thing with a boy, and I guess people know, and they called her a whore, so that's, I guess, the issue. So, Billy bitches about how he should not have looked down, but since he's here, you might as well do something. So
this is where I feel like we see what the play should have been about. Is Louise's dealing with having a dead dad who was a shitbag and everyone knew he was a shitbag. And you absolutely could do like they did with Flower Drum Song and change the entire story.
Yep.
And still keep the music.
Uh-huh.
Because you can change who sings what songs.
Absolutely.
You can change the If I Loved You could be Louise to the carnival barker that she hooks up with. You could have you could still have Junas busting out all over and figure out some other way to have a horny dance-off. You could, if you wanted to have a horny dance-off, you could have all sorts of changes made that would... Because it feels like at the end they try to shoehorn it, and we'll get to it, but they try to shoehorn it as being Luis isn't her dad, you're not your dad. And that falls flat because the whole rest of the show is about Billy and not about Luis. Like, you can't have it be about Luis by just having it be, oh, you've got trouble down there with your family, and it's your baby girl, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, that's not about her. You've made the whole show about Billy. Even at the very end, it's still about Billy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't claim that it's this beautiful message about, oh, you're not your parents, when it's just about the shitbag.
It's about the shitbag.
It's about the shitbag dad. And, again, people who listen to the show know that I have dad issues. Like, it's a thing. I have a lot of trauma with bad dads. But
Bad dads are good at causing trauma.
yeah, it's like, I feel nothing for Luis in this because I'm too focused on hating Billy. Mm-hmm. Even though it feels like it's a show that was supposed to be aimed at people like me. You missed me.
Yeah, because the time that it was released, it's got to be aimed at the people in power, the dominant chunk of
but even
market.
the message at the end that's supposed to be more hopeful and more,
falls flat.
you're not your father's failings. It's like,
It
yeah,
falls
no,
in
that doesn't.
incredibly flat.
The rest of the movie doesn't help with that.
No, and it's the same issue that we're having where we keep wanting to remake the show to make it not suck.
Yeah,
By
and
having character growth and stuff like that. And I think
Which-
that having Luis is
Yeah.
really good. And one of the issues is we spend way too much fucking time on Billy in the
Yeah.
beginning. It's like Billy should be like the first half of the first act.
yes.
And the rest should be about Luis.
Yes, and I feel like what would be great is if because they keep reviving this show, and it just, the revivals are not in the same way as Flower Drum Song, which was
A great revival.
and like it was the most revival-y of revivals I've
They
ever
changed
seen.
everything.
Yeah, they
changed
changed everything and made it
everything.
such a good show.
so much better. It had some inspirations from the original, but
Yeah.
it was so leaps and bounds above its predecessor.
Yeah, like
that it deserves special recommendation,
like
acknowledgement.
Before the revival, I hear 100 Million Miracles, and I'm like, whatever. After the revival, I think of that last scene where they're talking about where their family came from and all of this stuff, and they turned it into something powerful.
Beautiful.
You can do the same fucking thing with a Carousel revival, and I promise it'll be better. I promise. It'll be something artistically beautiful with the message that you're trying to get across with Carousel.
I feel like the only people who can like Billy in this show are people who somewhat have abusive tendencies themselves, because you can't justify familial abuse.
No,
you really can't.
you can't.
Like you can't. You can't say, well, this person, well, they were drunk. Well, they had a hard childhood. Well, they had a rough upbringing. You know, well, their parent hit them. Then they know that it sucks.
Yeah.
So don't
stop it.
Like, yeah, that's a, you know, I think about with my parents. It's like, yeah, I fucking got spanked twice, but I was a pretty well behaved kid for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that my grandparents were harder on my parents, kind of thing. I mean, it's just, but my parents were easier on me than their parents were on them.
Yeah. For me, I never got hit,
No.
but he made up for it in other ways.
Yeah. Seriously.
And so it's like, you know, it's not even the physical side of things. It's the emotional side of things that can fuck you up. And it's why I do not have sympathy for Billy at all. And that's a thing, too, that I had to work with therapy, is that you don't have to.
Nope.
You absolutely don't have to. That person made shit choices, and they decided they're going to be a shit person. You don't have to forgive them for being shit. So I ain't gonna forgive Billy. Fuck you, Billy.
Not to well, then I almost did rewrite it again in my head to make it a little bit more Billy-centric. Well, because the more I think about it, Louise is a more interesting character because she is a vulnerable person in a vulnerable section of society who has a rough upbringing because her shitty dad, who basically left her mom in a bad situation kind of thing, and they rely on other people to make it by, and blah, 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 blah. All this shit. Luis is more interesting. You still could have the exposition with her dad. You still could have stuff with him up in heaven being like, oh, I gotta come down and help kind of thing, but you don't drag it out with him, because he sucks.
No, he sucks.
He sucks
ass.
to see, and even if you gave him all of the character developing backstory stuff that I think would make him more sympathetic of a shitty character, he still is going to suck because that's his purpose.
Yeah.
And it seems more or less like with the message they try to do at the end, the show is more about healing generational trauma.
Yeah.
As a synonym for you are not your parents. Your parents' sins are not you.
Yeah.
Your parents' mistakes are not you. You are your own person. Don't let anyone define you but you.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that's good. That's fantastic. That's a wonderful message to have in your show, and I approve of it. However, the things that come before that wonderful message suck. So
you do the exposition in the ballet.
There you go. With her dad. You're brilliant. That's perfectly brilliant. That is exactly how you do it. Because you have her playing the role of her mom in the ballet. And basically she's reenacting, to an extent, her mother's relationship with her father in her own relationship with this performer who...
And her own relationship with the rest of the community. Because her mom was dragged.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Absolutely. Not out of wedlock child, but your husband was a despicable. More or less.
You know that her mom went through some shit. There we go. Fixed it.
Moving on. Let's tear down more of this turd. So, of course, and I did forget to mention, like as Kay had talked about, I really glossed over it. We get a lengthy ballet scene, and it's very vague, but by the end of it, the implication is that Billy's daughter, Louise, had sex. That is the implication. Doesn't appear that she's pregnant or anything like that. If that's the case, nobody ever fucking says anything.
No.
All that appears is that she's a 15-year-old who got horny and had sex with, we don't know how old the other guy is, but he does look older than her.
Yeah.
So, like mother, like daughter? I don't know.
Yeah. She went through the same sort of trauma that her mom went through, but younger.
So after that ballet and stuff like that, with Louise having her breakdown, saying she hates her life, she wants to die, and then it cuts to her like resting on this capsized wagon, and the wheel is just spinning, and she's just laying on the wheel as it spins around, and that's when Billy is like, never should have looked down, but since I'm here, I might as well make things worse. So Billy goes to Julie's house, where Carrie is visiting with 2 of her 9 children.
Jesus.
When her husband, I guess they patched it up after the whole Climbake issue, shows up with the other 7 to remind Carrie that they have a schedule to keep, and so they leave. The eldest boy wants to hang back to flirt with Louise. Louise asks him to keep a secret and tells him her plan to run away and join the circus and become an actress. The eldest seed of Snow tells her that he will stop Louise from leaving by marrying her. It will take some convincing of his father in order for him to marry someone below his station, but he wants to. Ghost Billy is hanging around and wanting to smack the shit out of the kid, but Louise beats him to it, chasing off Snow's eldest seed and crying on the table. Billy decides that he wants to be seen and tries to talk to his daughter, not giving away that he is her dad. He talks to her about her dad, mostly that he was handsome and had an 18-inch cock that all the girls drooled over. Billy tries to give Louise a gift, a star. But Louise... But Luisa's stranger danger sense is strong, and she tries to leave, but is grabbed by Billy, who aggressively tells her to accept his gift, and Luis tells him to let her go.
God.
He smacks her hand, and Luis rushes into the house to tell her mom, and Billy vanishes from sight the next moment. Luis tells her mom that she isn't making it up, a strange man was here, and that he did hit her hand, but it was gentle, like a kiss.
Fuck this show. Blech. Blech.
So, of course, that is the infamous scene that I remember when I was a child that made me hate this show and burned it into my little child brain that I carried with me into adulthood, and I still hate. They tried to sanitize it a bit by, instead of having him, because I remember vividly him slapping her in the face in the version that I saw, but no, he's grabbing her hand and he smacks her hand.
Yeah.
And then she runs inside. And it's so dumb. It's still so frustrating. And for how fucking smooth this guy thinks he is, but at the same time, he's never had to talk to his own daughter before because he's never been around. She has a right to be creeped out because he is talking to her like he does to all girls, which is creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy and aggressive and sexual.
It's
and
fucked up.
It's his daughter, and he doesn't know any other way to behave. It's like, oh, the girls like it when I call him sweetheart. Get over here, sweetheart. I want to give you something. Get over it, sweetheart. Hey, sweetheart, get over it. I want to give you something, sweet. Take it. Like,
Yeah. Blech, blech. This whole scene, just throw it out in the trash.
So Julie tells Luis to go in the house, but Luis is like, no, you're acting weird. You know what's up, don't you? And Julie pulls her daughter in, and the two reminisce about how strange it is that you can get smacked hard, but not have it hurt at all. It's fucking nuts, yo. It's insane this scene even tries to sanitize it by having Billy hit Luis on the hand instead of the face, but the longing looks that both women share over this cosmic phenomenon of being abused, but bouncing back. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
And the way that they just... You can agree with me on this. Doe-eyed, dreamy, whimsical, just, Mom, is it possible? Is it possible to be hit so very hard and not have it hurt? Yes, honey. Yes, it is to be hit so incredibly hard and not have it hurt. It's just like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
How is this good? No. No!
Yeah.
No! Bad musical! Bad people!
Yeah, I mean, well, you saw I was taking pictures of the screen while we're watching it because I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, again, when I saw it, I couldn't have been older than 6, so all of this went fucking over my head. If I had seen it at the age that you were, I would have had some questions.
You know, I want to say I was probably 8 or 9. It was before my sister was born. That's all I definitely vividly remember. I don't specifically remember how old I was, but I know it was elementary school.
Yeah. Fuck this show. Fuck this show.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, older than 3rd grade, younger than 6th grade. So it's either the 4 or the 5. I don't know. It's one of those two. So... Okay, anyways, we are... My God, my last few notes here. We're almost done.
Then we can get to shows that are better.
Okay. Anyways, Luis goes into the house, and Julie notices on the table a star. The gift her ungrateful daughter rudely rejected, and she picks it up. Billy appears behind her and sings, and it seems that she hears it, but then he turns to walk away... but then she turns to walk away... And Billy is like, I think she knew I was here, even though I didn't want her to know that I was here. But I wanted to sing to her and not have her hear it, because I'm a complex, multi-leveled character.
And that's his, I loved you.
Yeah, that's his, I loved you, but I don't... You know what would have made this better? Is if he showed up and got on one knee and said, I am incredibly sorry for everything. I am so sorry for how I treated you. I was scared.
Yeah.
I was worried. I took it out on you. But in the end, I made mistakes, and I'm sorry. And I want you to know that I love you, and I love our daughter.
Yeah.
And even if I'm not here, I'm with you in spirit.
Yes.
I'm looking. You could have had some beautiful stuff there that could have really done a good job at making this piece of shit somewhat kind of have a redemption arc. I don't know.
Yeah.
At least have his exiting moment not be as shitty
Yeah.
as the rest of his time that he was there. It's just baffling to me that they intentionally have it be the way it is. And it may just, again, be a fucking product of its time, but at the same time, I'm like...
There are better products of their time.
Better products of your time. Oh my god.
Yeah, and this show being so regarded as a classic just makes me go, to who?
To people who smack women, Kay.
Well, no, there are people who still consider this good, and I don't know why.
Those people think about it a lot, but never have. That's what I say
fair.
about them. So Billy, to be fair, I think about hitting women as well, but not that way. And I shouldn't say women. I think about an individual. Lots of hitting, lots of smacking, but I promise it's not bad.
It's BDSM sort of shit, so which would have made the if you look at it
Maybe
in that
that's
lens,
maybe that's her thing. Maybe
that's her thing.
Maybe that's just her fetish, but she doesn't know how to deal with it for the time.
Yeah, they didn't have BDSM in the 1800s. They didn't understand kinks quite.
I'm already a member of society who doesn't have the right to vote and can't own land and just generally only exists to be a product for women, so I really like it when you put your foot on my neck and
I make that
call me
joke, and then I'm
names.
like, actually, BDSM is a lot more complex than
It's
that,
true.
which is
It's true. Yeah, I'm being gross and broad.
I am still very vanilla. In my, I like to have my ass slapped.
You and me are both so vanilla.
We're so
But that's
vanilla.
okay. I'm okay. We're vanilla together.
The only reason that I don't see myself with fursuits is because I know how much work it takes to make them. Someone else can do it, but I'm like, no, that shit's sweatier than regular sex. I don't want to get any more sweaty than that, and then it's gonna smell like sweat.
And sex.
And sex. And that doesn't come out of fake fur. No matter how much you scrub.
Man, we've crammed so many tangents into this comeback episode, and I love it.
I do too. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna edit out, honestly.
Oh, well, you get a whole day to decide.
Yep.
So, Billy tells his celestial parole officer that he wants an extension on his one day, because he needs to help his daughter, because he's done nothing but hit her and leave her a shitty legacy. The scene changes to graduation day, and Billy is whispering to his daughter while the town doctor speaks to all the graduates. He has some good advice about not leaning on your parents' success and being your own person. Do not let anything they have or have not done determine who you are. So, good message. Too bad it's wrapped in trying to humanize a wife-beating, child-beating piece of heaven's back door.
Yeah, and the thing is that the play that this is based on ends basically before the graduation scene.
Yeah.
Like, he fucked up his one chance and gets sent back to purgatory.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's how Lilium ends, and then they're like, we can't do that on an American stage.
And then again, it's the situation of they're trying to adapt material that I don't think should be adapted to this type of art style.
No.
You can have you can have tragedies, you can have drama. I mean, Rent, well...
Rent has
tragedy in it, but is not a tragedy.
Yeah. If you think about what happens, and if you think about it past Mimi coming back, it's like, no, they're still all fucked.
Oh, her AIDS didn't get cured.
No.
She's just not dead today.
She's not dead today, she's still fucked.
Oh
Like,
God, I'm sorry, Mimi. I shouldn't be
if
laughing.
If you think about that any longer, then that's, it's still a tragic show. And tragic musicals are still really fucking good. Sweeney Todd is a fucking tragedy.
Okay. Well, but the girl and the boy.
They still are fine, but
Yeah.
like Sweeney, he's fucked.
Well, I guess you're right. He is the main character.
Yeah, the
and
main
his
character
story
is fucked.
His story is a tale of redemption. That
He
yeah.
killed
Or not
his
redemption,
wife.
Revenge.
And finds out that he killed his wife. Like, it's one of those things that you can do tragedy, and it's fine. Tragedy is needed on Broadway because it's still a cathartic thing. It's a catharsis. We don't have to end it happy. We can have it be a messy ending if it is genuinely messy. This feels like they tried to shoehorn in a good moral, which ruins the messiness. Because you're trying to sweep up the messiness underneath everything to hide it. And it I don't know, if it would have cut off at the graduation, that would have been one thing. And maybe that it's not Billy whispering to her that, he in hell. He has, or in purgatory, he still has to deal with the fact that he was a shitbag. But then we have Louise, who finds that she can have her own inner strength. You can have that, but it's just the trying to sanitize a work that shouldn't have been sanitized.
You're making me think about something I haven't thought about, which is more of the source material, in that the source material is a tragedy. It's not a story of redemption. It's not a story of a man making peace with his past. It is a failure.
Yes.
It is a man. It's a story about a man who can't change. He's given the chance to change, and he can't. He's maybe a victim of his own nature or whatever. That's a different kind of story than what I feel like they were trying to tell with this.
Yes.
And that's a problem, because that story can be told really well.
Yes.
You can have a character that you hate, that you're rooting for, that you want to see change and make better, and then watch them fail and get dragged back to hell and be like, oh, like, that's, to me, I think that actually would be an interesting story, because it also, the fourth dimensional aspect of it to the audience is, it's important to be aware of your own things that are going to drag you down, a kind of thing that you can change, and if you don't change, they will drag you down.
Yes, and so in a revival of Carousel, you can either go the Louise route, like to truly revive it and change it to be something better. You can go the Julie route, or you can go with this is based on Lilium, let's play Lilium straight.
Let's play Lilium. Exactly. Now I'm kind of like, because that's they didn't want to go one way or the other. They didn't want to make it a humanizing redemption story, and they didn't want to make it a tragedy of unable to mature, I guess, as they grow, evolve, adapt. So there's two different dynamics. If they would have picked one or the other, it would have been so much better. But they tried to fucking slow stroke in the middle, and it's not good.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I have one more note. Anyways, the doctor asks the graduates if they know the "You'll Never Walk Alone" song, and everyone fucking sings it. Billy goes to Luis and Julia and tells them both that he loves them before fucking off into the sunset and giving us the sweetest kiss of a parental smack we could ever hope for. The end screen. Fuck this show. Fuck this movie. The end.
Yep. If they had played Lilium straight, that would have been one thing.
Lilium straight would have been one thing. Complete revival, changing the purpose of the show to be it that he does change his ways, that would have been better. But having this edging middle ground leaves one unsatisfied.
Yes, it's musical blue balls.
No, I don't know. It might get you off, but you really regret it. So it's really unsatisfying. It's the kind of thing you'd be like, oh, I'll definitely be doing that again later, but not with that.
Yeah. It's like jerking off into a jar of pickles. What? You got the sting of the vinegar, but you still get off.
I am perplexed and admittedly a tiny bit curious.
It's like flinging popcorn.
Off of one's erect member. I don't know how well that would actually work. I don't think it would work as well. Okay, anyways. So, what positive things would I say about Carousel looking at it from an adult, I use that scare quotes, adult mindset, decades later? Well, I don't like it. I like Billy... would you remember the name of the song where he's singing about his children, what they're going to be like?
Soliloquy.
That is called Soliloquy. Okay. Soliloquy is not terrible. It's better than I remember, and I don't know if it's better than I remember because they changed it, or if he always talked about the potential of a daughter. Because to me, having this song that starts out with a person being very proud and lambastic of what their junior penis is going to be, and all the girls are going to fuck, and all the shit they're not going to take, and all the things they're going to be good at. And then he has to, think about, oh no, what if it's a vagina? I know what guys like me do to vaginas. Mm-hmm. And then he has to grapple with the fact that he's shitty. So there is good stuff in that, that pill. Is the whole thing great? No. But that piece has some goodness in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I like. I don't know if there's anything else in the show that I like.
I think the real tragedy of that scene, though, is that it doesn't lead to any actual change in his behavior.
It really doesn't. Well, and that's the thing that's messed up, is because, he... in that part of the song, the part about it where he gets to concern about his daughter, making sure that she has what she needs, money is what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. So the potential concern about having a daughter seems to be one of the factors that spur him to go do crime in the attempts to get money so that he can take care of his wife and unborn child, which again, he pisses the money away gambling it while they're waiting to rob the guy. Mm-hmm. So, and you dumb shit. With Jigger, the most trustful of people, surely he wouldn't betray a friend. God, I hate him. So it's just, he I don't know. It's the tale of a shitty man who maybe had some good intentions, but sure did pave that road to hell. All by him, well, not all by himself, but he laid a lot of stone.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's just, it's very confusing about what they want to communicate, what feeling they want the audience to have for this character through the songs. I don't know, because all I mostly do, and you can vouch for this, is scream at the fucking TV about how stupid this shit is!
Yep.
So, we've done Carousel, Kay.
We've done Carousel.
We have teased it and talked about it, and I've loathed it from afar for decades. And then we bit off this piece and spit it out.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did. And unless they do a good revival, or the Audra McDonald version somehow comes out and we can watch it, because Audra McDonald makes everything better, I don't think we ever have to touch this show again.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I needed this catharsis. We've been gone for a while. We had a tragedy, and I feel like doing this show is also a way for me to pay respects to a great man who was in my life for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of his mannerisms, and I picked up a lot of his humor, and he was such a great, wonderful person. Totally, completely unlike Billy's shit for brains fuckface Bigelow.
Yep.
Which is one of the reasons I wanted this episode to be our coming back episode, so that we could talk a little bit about why we've been gone, and also pay respects to a great man by talking about a shitty one.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, we're back, y'all.
We're back. Speaking of back, we have a show that we were going to do before everything went to hell.
Before life exploded.
Before life exploded. And so originally it was going to be a, hey, you should get tickets to this.
Oh, yeah.
But I still want to cover it because they're going to be doing a new one this year.
And they're fun, and it's still a fun show to talk about.
So fun, and it's such a great show to talk about. And the theater that did it has moved to doing a lot of shows with streaming now.
Yes.
Which is so awesome.
Woo!
So our next episode is going to be a complete tonal shift from this one. We are going to be covering the Utah original and hopefully the new annual Utah original. They're doing it again this year. They've announced the writers. We are going to be covering Slack Cabaret.
Woo! Which, complete spoilers, we already watched.
We already watched it.
I already took notes, and it's good. It's fun.
It's very good. We actually rewatched it
Watched it twice.
Yeah, we watched it twice. We rewatched it with
We had family
our family
that was in town while,
dealing with all of this, and
Yeah.
we just needed a moment to breathe.
Yeah.
And I think it was actually the night of the funeral that we watched it.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
We...
Because we were just so down and just
a wonderful I don't know what other moniker to use, so I'm going to use it, but wonderful shout out to my Aunt Emily and Uncle Kyle and their love and support, and Emily for buying lots of wine, and we enjoyed the show and each other's company.
Yep, and a shout out to your Uncle Taylor, who didn't watch this, even though we kept saying, you should watch this. I promise it's a good musical.
I hope he's
We
feeling
love
good.
you, Taylor.
We love you.
Yeah, fight that COVID. Fight that Rona.
That's what happens.
Show it who's boss.
That's what happens when you work around germ-infested children.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's not his fault.
Not his fault. But anyway, guys, thank you. Thank you so much for all of your support and your love and just, being there for us and helping us out and sharing when we had the GoFundMe out, sharing that and helping out.
Yes. I want to apologize. I have been so incredibly stretched thin mentally and emotionally. Kay has done so much, and I have not properly expressed my appreciation for everything Kay has done to help keep me sane in everything that's been going on. Kay's been sharing people's well wishes, and I can't thank everybody enough, genuinely, sincerely, for all the love and support. And it's a curse of being an introverted person and then also having a tragedy, is that people want to support you, and you also are like, I just want to climb inside my fucking hole and die now. So
yeah, no, I love you, babe.
I love you. And Kay has been more than a rock. Kay has been a foundation.
Thanks, babe. I love you. Love you. Yeah, getting teary on here. Curse of the Witch.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Anyway, y'all, thank you again so much. I don't know. How do we end these? I forgot how we end these things.
Thank you so much for, oh man, we gotta end this one differently.
Yeah.
We gotta end this one differently because it's fucking Carousel, y'all.
Yeah.
I have been talking about this fucking show for so long. You'll never forget us. You'll never not remember, because we're tone deaf. You are Kay, I am Warren, we are here, and you're queer, and
I am.
we'll be here next week.
Oh, God. God, I love you.
And we love you, listeners.
We love you very much.
And we will love to talk to you all. Oh, shit. How do we end these things? Shit, how do we end these things?
Something. Follow us on Tone Deaf Musical everywhere you find stuff.
If you want to reach out to Kay and myself, you can do so at our home base, which is tonedeafmusical.com. There we have links to all of our social medias. our Twitters, our Facebooks, Instagrams,
Yes.
as well as a link to the Cast Junkie Discord server where we have our own Not Safe for Work channel. And, yeah.
You can
Yeah.
buy T-shirts and shit on our TeePublic.
Yeah.
You can help out the show non-monetarily by going to wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify now, which that happened while we were gone.
Oh, I guess Amazon too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're on there.
No, because I say too many mean things about Jeff Bezos, so...
Oh, so they won't allow us.
I am not about to sign away a thing saying I will always suck Jeff Bezos' dick.
Do they do
no. It's a whole thing about don't talk bad about Amazon. Fuck you.
No, fuck you, Amazon. Stop being shitty, and we
Yeah.
won't talk bad about
Yeah, pay your employees better. Don't make them have to piss into bottles. Give them breaks, assholes. Anyway, unionize.
If you know that you allot a certain amount of time to your employees' daily activities for them to have a mental breakdown and cry, as you know that's just
You might be the baddies.
you might be the baddies.
But yeah, anyway, go to where you get your podcasts, give us a 5-star review. It helps us go up the charts. You can also follow us on Good Pods, which I'm trying to be better about doing. I've sort of been like new year, new me about this. So if you go on there, you can review us there as well. You can review us on Podchaser, where you can review individual episodes. I was totally going to sing the review that we got from Florida Man, but I
Florida Man
didn't.
gave us a
Yes,
review?
they did.
Aw.
But I was not in the right mental state to try and write something to do with that. But
Hey, speaking of which, shout out to Florida Men on Florida Man.
yes, they have helped us get through so much.
Very, very funny, surprising podcast that I didn't know I needed in my life until Kay was like, "Hey, we should listen to this," and I was like, "Oh, put it in my ear hole, baby."
Yes.
Yes.
So definitely thank you guys, because that helped us out. Tyler and Nate were helping us too. They're great.
From
Cortland,
Animorphing time.
Yeah,
Cortland from Up All Night. Everyone's
been
thank you.
so
God,
wonderful.
People have been so wonderful.
Yeah.
And I apologize to people that I haven't talked to because I'm a fucking mess.
It's okay, hon. It's okay. But yeah, if you want to go above and beyond with supporting, you can do so at our Patreon, which is Tone Deaf Musical. We've been trying to be better about doing things. If you have been on our Twitter and Facebook, you may have seen that we've started doing a new series with Patreon, which is Guess the Plot from the title in one song. Working title. It might change. Might not. It probably won't. It'll probably forever be called that.
Wordy and wordy but perfectly accurate.
Yes, where Warren has to guess what a show's plot is based on the title in one song from the show. And there have been some fucking amazing things.
Oh.
I think Aida may be one of my favorites, but our Christmas one is... There's some gems in that one. I cannot wait until we cover some of those shows for you to see what they're actually about.
You know, now I'm curious about From Here to Eternity.
Yeah. We can watch that one easy. But anyway, thank you guys so much. We will be back next week, but that'll be it for today. I'm Kay,
I'm Warren.
and this has been
Tone
Tone Deaf. Did it.
Did it. We did the thing.
We did the thing.
Hey, Kay.
Uh-huh.
You know that thing that we've done over 100 times before?
Yeah.
We did it again.
Did the thing.
Do it again.
We